Let's turn to Brett Velicovich. He's a former Delta operator, special operations soldier, drone expert. Brett, your thoughts on this night and what we may see at first light?
Well, my first thoughts, Brett, are the president made the right call. The time is now, and I'm glad the president made the decision. And I'm sure it wasn't an easy one, but the reality is talk doesn't work in that region. If talk was the option and writing nice letters to the mullahs and the Ayatollah to get them to stop their nuclear ambitions, we would have done that. But that's not the way this region thinks. The region only understands power, strength, decisive military action, and kudos to the president. It sounds like he also pulled off a pretty impressive military deception strategy. He didn't need 2 weeks to determine to strike. Iran already had years to fix their problems, and I don't think he thought he actually needed 2 weeks, and it was designed to kind of throw them off guard and conduct one of these strikes. And we're going to see what's going to happen, when the dust settles and the intel that results from it. It seems that we were starting to see some escalation from Iran to try and continue the fight by launching more lethal drones against Israel, against our bases. But it doesn't need to be that way from the Iranian side, Brett. After this strike, they have run out of really any strong options to fight back. Their leaders need to come to terms that their time's up. They've already lost. Their country is collapsing. Iran can do the right thing for once and stop supporting terrorism through its proxies and actually come back to the nuclear negotiation table. And if the hardliners at the top of that regime don't get it now, they're going to lose their country. That's the bottom line. The Israelis know the precise location of where they all are, and they're going to continue to pick them off one by one. And, my guess, was the president wanted to try and maximize pressure before fully going in lethal. That's why we saw the U.S. B-2 bombers getting positioned in the region. That was a big message in and of itself. That was an extraordinary show of force. If he conducted this strike, if he made the decision, it was because all other efforts to stop them from building a nuclear bomb have failed. And he should have a clear conscience that he did everything he could to get them to change their evil ways peacefully first.
Brett, last thing I wanted to, we haven't heard from the Supreme Leader for a couple of days. We're told by Israelis that he is holed up in a bunker, that the defense minister, after the hospital strike, Iran's missiles hitting an Israeli hospital, suggested that he would now be a target, the Supreme Leader. There were a number of reports that President Trump kind of put the kibosh on targeting the Supreme Leader a number of days ago. What about the opposition on the ground in Iran? How much do we know? Obviously, we saw the Green Revolution in 2009 that was put down by the Iranians, not really supported by the Obama administration. But what do we know about the possibility of an uprising to take over the leadership in Iran?
Well, I think in the end, we're not going to be able to create full-on regime change. It's going to have to be the Iranian people themselves. It's, the moderate Iranians. They're going to have to rise up and actually do something. The moderate Iranians, they want peace. They want to have better relationships with the Western world, and we need to sort of help them, give them the time and space to be able to do that. I don't think right now Iran's hardliners really have many options to try and save face in the world since Israel began its military campaign. I don't think necessarily it's a good idea to take out the Ayatollah. He is a religious figure. He is a religious scholar that could open up a whole can of worms from the religious side of things. But in the end, I don't think in the end they're going to surrender to the enemy who they fought for centuries. They have too much pride for that. They're going to send their own country, all its citizens, the women and children, to their deaths over Persian pride. And that's the larger problem. They don't want to lose face in front of the world because they projected this lie that they are the power that should have control over the Middle East. And so I think the best thing we can do is help the Israelis sort of bomb them back to the nuclear negotiation table like we've done. And let's be ready for when they arrive back at the table.